Welcome to Season 2 of Pod Practice, where Mamabird alumni Quinn Finer, Mikey Lund, and myself, Alex Atkins, talk about Ultimate from the perspective of players and coaches. We want to engage with you, so please reach out, say hi, ask a question, give some feedback. We look forward to talking with you. To reach out, follow us on Instagram or YouTube at podpractice_pod. Listen on Spotify at Pod Practice, or email us at show@podpracticepod.com. I hope you enjoy this episode. I like when you just started talking. Damn, bro. I look dummy strong in this one.
Damn, my God.
Why do I never look at these pictures anymore? It's a shame you have to buy them, though.
Which one?
Why? How is it a shame that you have to buy something that somebody worked for? Like, what are you fucking talking about? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I'm the content.
I don't care.
I'm literally what their work is. I shouldn't have to
Nobody
buy
else
it.
is going to buy it.
I don't give a shit.
I shouldn't have to. Why is that one randomly in black and white? Don't understand. Whoa, look at that one of Maddie in black and white. Whoa.
That's hard.
All right, we'll commit a crime on
Wow, being recorded.
You're committing a crime live.
No, Brian, I'll pay you. Don't worry. But also, I'm just putting it on Slack. So
We shouldn't even have to pay for it anyway because we're the content.
Because we're the content.
It's us.
Anyway, so going back to the opening here. So our response last week was great. It's, as we stated, we're trying to interact with all of the listeners a little bit more, and thank you so much for listening, responding, participating. It does make this that much more fun. So we are, I think, first going to answer a couple questions about coaching, adult coaching, or I don't even know what to call it, adult lessons, I wouldn't call them camps, adult resources. Even when I say adult, it sounds like something inappropriate to me, but you know what I mean.
Adult parties? Sergeant, I believe they're called orgies. No look 5.
Tennis pro, frisbee pro. I don't know. Something like, maybe it's just my, sorry.
I don't
Sorry,
think
everybody.
anybody was thinking that.
Yeah, I think it might
Resources.
see,
I just ruined that. Maybe I'll cut that out. Anyway, maybe I'll first read this email from John quickly. Thanks for emailing John Saul, longtime listener, first-time caller. I really enjoy the off-season pod so far, and most of your recent episode discussing widely accessible high-level knowledge had me wondering about resources you guys might have access to. We do have access to some of our own, resources from other teams and, teammates over the years, but a lot of it is self-made resources. Let's see here. I'm from Ireland. The majority of information available freely online is relatively simple and aimed to low to mid-level teams where most of the player base is. I think that's true, and I think that's what I'd like to change. Lots of the higher knowledge is gated, and as you discussed, held back until you're invited to a higher level session or participating on a club team on another side of the country. I'm really looking to take the next step into the elite European level this year, and was hoping you could provide any drill skills, tactics, tips, playbooks, or just higher level information that is not widely available online for anyone to access. I think I'll skip over. But I'm glad he suggested this. Alternatively, you guys could set up a Patreon where things could be provided for listeners alongside other benefits. Obviously, I love money. But I thank you for mentioning that. I think that we would likely pour any resources that we get kind of back into this venture, this podcast, and I think all three of us would love to find more ways to provide useful things to people, and I think to do that we probably do need more resources. If you ever plan on running some higher level sessions across the pond, I would look forward to it. That would be sweet. I've only been to
That'd be
Ireland once
sick.
and I got COVID, so I would love to go back and experience the country for real. Do you guys have any response to that before I keep reading other ones?
It would be sick to do international, almost like a tour, like a concert, but it's clinics in different countries, in different places, and you go around and you make a wait list of in different places of trying to get some clinics for these types of people. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, I think that one I would be super fun, but isn't super unique. I think something that stood out to me is that he said is lots of the higher level knowledge is gated. And I think that's true. I think two things. One is the sport is still very simple, so there's not always that much information that's necessarily gated. But I think the way things are taught and practiced on other teams, there's also some tactics that are probably pretty gated, because I struggle with that, right? Like if I have something that I think is really useful to teach, I don't really want my opponent to know what that is.
Yeah, it's also just hard to get the reps at them consistently, I think. I think a big one for me that I notice for players when they're making a jump up in level is the pace of play and just how quickly they go through looks, especially with the disc, I was noticing that a little bit even at bird practice, between some of the higher level players and some of the not as high level players, how quickly they go through looks and are able to move the disc. And I suppose some of that also would translate to downfield cutting and stuff, and then how you make cuts and that kind of things. I think it's easier to see when you have the disc though. And I just think it's hard to get even if someone tells you, we need you to be looking maybe only upfield for a look or two and then going to the reset. It's still difficult to just take that and then apply it in your next game. I think it just takes reps at it's so much easier, like I was saying last time, when you're just on a team or
You
whatever.
can watch people do it.
You're just
feel it.
forced into it, and you have to adapt. Otherwise, you're just left behind.
I do think there are certain things though that are sort of gated. I don't think intentionally necessarily, but I think footwork with the disc, for instance, how you pivot as you're receiving the disc, that I think a lot of people do naturally. And I would say even some higher level players, when we do coach it, sometimes ignore it, and it may not matter that much. But I do think, we talk about the inward turn a lot. What I mentioned to Nanda at practice the other day is, how do I describe this? I'll draw it out on the screen for you guys, and maybe you can help me describe it.
Just the inward turn?
No, it's actually it's one that I've been posting in the FFC channel that we have for Summit, which will make no sense to anybody else. But basically, if this is the thrower, maybe I'll be able to clip this in. I don't know. And reset here. It kind of doesn't matter if his momentum is this way or not. But if you catch the disc here, and the mark is still trailing, so the defender is still here, what Nanda was doing and what I see a lot of players do is they'll pivot back to look upfield, and a lot of the times they look to just hit that give go. But you might as well just stay with your body facing this way if the mark has not sealed around yet. Because if you do stay this way, obviously if they don't commit, then you have a free throw to the break side. And generally, what I want a mark to be doing as a thrower is to be off balance or to be over pursuing. So if I wait for them to over pursue to seal, that's fine. Like if they end up containing it, that's fine. But I don't want to do their job for them by pivoting back into where they are so they can seal faster. Does this little thing?
Yeah.
Get,
Yeah. No, I mean, you're just basically saying like, there's no point in pivoting immediately back to the middle of the field because you're going to have the advantage on your defender regardless of if you wait, because they're still containing on the other side and you can still beat them on a give go regardless of if you wait or not. So there's no point in doing it immediately.
I think you see that a lot with especially maybe younger kids who are like excited about doing give goes and stuff and just not giving that wherever their momentum is going even a look, you know, whether they catch an up line or like a reset off the sideline, you know.
Yeah. Two things come to mind. One is actually Kins. I'm not 100% sure, but I can vividly remember, but my memory is poor and fuzzy. 2022 finals, like all the end zone sets, I really felt like you kind of had truck defenders on a string in that sort of 3v3 end zone space where you had them over committing on the mark, but also with your legs attacking certain spots and then countering when they overplayed. And Joe White, obviously, he's the example I pulled. So maybe I'll find some footage to clip into this segment to watch his footwork a little bit. Or not, right? Because I want to gate this information. Do I want to gate this?
The gatekeeping sounds a little
gated.
Conspiracy theory to me, which I don't know if it's like gated on purpose. I think maybe there's just things that teams work on at a higher level, but I don't know. Gated feels like a weird term.
It may be a little overstated, but I know
just
what
like
he's
there's
saying.
more important things to be working on the not as high level teams than like some of these more nuanced things, or maybe they're just focusing on the wrong things, or maybe they're focusing on the right things. Gated seems weird though.
Okay, I'm gonna read. We got one from Jalal on my phone. We got another one from Kyle on my phone. I got Zach here up on email. I'll read this one quickly. We'll see how we're doing on time because we might try to hit some of these questions up later. Let's read this one from Zach Granite because I feel like he's been actively supporting us recently. Hey, Coach Mike, Kins, and Quinn. It's Zach again. Glad to see you guys dropping another episode this week. I'll skip ahead a little bit. I really liked your idea about co-streaming SMI and future tournaments. That's good because we might have an announcement on that soon.
Let's go.
Always good to give color commentary over the main feed, and it's really a fun viewer experience. I'll tell you what, if we do it, it will be colorful. I cannot say it'll be a great quote unquote product.
Oh, it'll be sick.
I tried to fill this out. Let's see. He mentions I also started working with Rowan and Excel again, and I'm pretty sure he would like to have involved in some capacity I think he's just mentioning partnering with Ultiworld. I am reading fast. I was actually hoping to reach out to you guys about this anyway, but you came up with the idea yourself. Seemed like we're the same wavelength. We actually got a couple messages saying that they liked the idea of more resources. I think some who are already paying or working with Rowan, I assume through the Excel program. There's definitely a market for it. I think I don't know exactly what Rowan does. I don't know if either of you do. I'm not sure if it's exactly what I'm thinking. Do either of you know much about Rowan's?
I do not know what he's doing over there at Excel.
I mean, I think it's just like I don't really know, but it feels like just like a workout plan, but it's like for Frisbee skills instead. So it's like
GPP, but Frisbee skills.
Yeah. And he shows like he has videos of himself and videos of Jack doing certain things that you can like watch and try to, make sure you're doing it right and stuff like that. I think so he posted a video like the other day, like it was like titled like, "Are you throwing right?" or something like that. And he was like examples of himself and examples of like other stuff that maybe not be as correct. And
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I think that stuff is useful, but I want to be more nuanced. Like I saw this other short video. It was some European team. I see these videos, around from different sources. And it was like some drill where I think it was just like, it's like a windshield wiper drill. Like you hit a cone, you cut back under, you catch it, and then like you turn, whatever. But you're practicing like the motor skills, I guess, of planting, of catching at, whatever, 80% speed for 60 seconds or whatever.
Ugh.
But I don't see how, what I think is really missing is how do I translate this to a game? Like, do you really need someone to tell you that you need to be better at throwing and catching?
I mean, that's how I feel with a lot of things, though. Like, sometimes it's just nice because, like, I think people don't need to know, but maybe it's easier if Rowan just kind of like walks them through. Because I feel like there's a lot of businesses out there that seem kind of obvious, and maybe to us because we're more, we're deeper in the space, but maybe for some other people it's not as obvious and they would like it. I'm looking at his website. He has like ultimate training videos, the premium library, team coaching, strength and conditioning,
Wow. Okay.
throwing academy, and then private lessons.
Dang.
And it's like you get a bunch of videos, and then there's obviously those different sectors that you can get to watch.
Ooh, now available. Maybe we
videos
should talk to Rowan again about what exactly he has on here.
This is cool.
Yeah, maybe we should get him on here to talk about it.
He has to come give us a private lesson first, though.
I would like a private lesson.
Yeah, Kins, he could teach you how to throw an OEO.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, one thing that I'm really interested in though, and then I'll drop this. I'll stop beating this horse. Is I want to teach people how to read the field. That's one thing that I feel like is not really encapsulated in a lot of these.
God, it's so hard to teach though, right? Like it's just like I feel like that just comes with experience and time. Like it's so like you can tell like this is your progression that you should be looking for, but it's much harder to put into practice like in live play than it is just to like talk about it. I feel like
Yeah.
Maybe you could do it though. Actually, I think there's probably ways to figure it out.
Probably ways.
Even if you just like have them like kind of visualize it and just like make up some different situations, and you have them like throw pumps or like throw it, and then just kind of getting them going through their different progressions. And obviously that relies on like having people in the right spaces then when they try to bring them like to a game and stuff like, but
I think
we could do it.
That's one reason why I'm less interested in honestly the one-on-one, and I'm interested in a small group, like a pod practice,
Practice.
Like having 6 to 10 people. I think 20 is too many. Like you're running a real practice at that point.
Mm-hmm.
There's pros and cons to all of them. You just got to figure. It's like what's the main objective. I guess.
Yeah, you're right.
Because for like a throwing thing, maybe, and stuff like that, well, it just depends. It really does just depend.
Yeah. Like, I think maybe what I'm interested in is not necessarily more useful. It's just then learning how to throw at a high level. But I love that cohesiveness. Like when you're on the same page with a few people. And we'll talk about tryouts a little bit here, but Kins, you mentioned some connection you had with Dameron, And in my head, as soon as you said it, I was like, I just know that you two would have really good chemistry together.
Well, you know what's interesting? Last night, what Nut said that we were talking about lines and whatnot, and Nut told us that he thinks chemistry is bullshit. And at first I was like, whoa, because like this is what we were talking about with like the summit and stuff. And he was like, I think there's just like people who have good fundamentals basically and like play in maybe not like I don't want to say the right way because who knows like what the right way is, but at least in like the common way, and therefore like chemistry. And he makes a good point because it's like if you play like he was like the first time I played with Danny, it didn't feel like there was like really much chemistry issues because for the most part, you know what Danny's going to do because he's like playing at a predictable rhythm and that kind of stuff. And I think there's an extent to that because I think each person has their like unique play styles that like you would like to learn, and therefore like chemistry I think still is valuable in a lot of ways. But I understand what he's saying as well with like some people just understand like the rhythm and pace at which you want to play at this level, and so it's easier to play with those types of people.
Yeah.
You said one thing that is like at the core of it all is predictability, and it's I've mentioned it before on the podcast, but like you can be like a really good cutter and a really good thrower, but like if you're not predictable for your teammates, then it just goes to waste. Because if you're not a predictable thrower, you're just like looking in the wrong spot and no one's cutting for it. Or if you're not a predictable cutter, you're cutting to spaces that just like no one is expecting, and so it's not accessible for you. So it's like just being predictable to your teammates is like super, super valuable. And I think chemistry obviously still exists but you know, yeah.
And it's true because the more chemistry you have in theory, like the smaller the windows have to be in a lot of ways, because like if you're on the exact same beat and you're able to like hit spots at the same time, then you don't need the windows to be as big because like you see what I'm saying? Whereas like even if you get really open, but I don't realize you're going to be open until like a second later, then like the window has to be bigger. Whereas like if we're on the exact same page, I can throw it to you like right out of your cut and you're going to come and get it, even if the defense is like super tight on you, just because. So like there's that. I was going to say like what annoys me to no end is watching players who like catch the disc and stare into an abyss of nothingness like downfield. Like that kind of shit like just drives me crazy now, especially like on a sideline. Like I was watching a little bit of honestly like going to bird practice was fun. And I want to be like a good, positive, supportive coach. And they were doing like wide threes and no one was scoring for like the first, like it was like wide threes first out of practice. They didn't score the first 7 reps, Quinn. And the defense was good. Don't get me wrong. The defense was
I don't
great
care.
defense.
Perfect defense and wide threes, you still get scored on.
And it's a lot of like good guys. Like there were a lot of guys hurt, but there's a lot of like good guys that you would expect to be scoring. And it's like a couple things. You don't see as much staring into the abyss in wide threes, I think, because it's like not as much going on. Like people aren't just going to stare downfield at nothing, but you do see that in like sevens where people will catch it like on the break side and just stare upfield at like not even a cut developing. They're just like staring into nothing, which is like it drives me crazy to watch. Yeah. And the other thing for wide threes was I was realizing like just like, I mean, the other thing that's interesting about it is it's so hard to put into words sometimes because a lot of it is just like this natural like flow of how you play offense, and like you attack a certain space, you like create a threat in that space, and either you hit it, and if you don't hit it, then you would like counter flow to like another threat in a different direction in space. And a lot of that is like getting into your formation the correct way, and they were really not great at getting into the formation and just like making those like easy looks. And you see a lot of like overcutting and undercutting. This is a long rant about things that maybe, you know, we could teach, but I'm just getting it off my chest because I didn't want to say anything at
it's
practice.
just so people can visualize what like wide threes is. It's basically it's like basically end zone 3-on-3 with full width field, so 40-yard wide field for people that don't know. You're just trying to score.
And
with like mostly handler type cuts.
Only handler type cuts. You can't throw like deep shots or anything And they were struggling to really find that nice connective balance as an offense, which was and what's nice is I was like, because Nut has given really good talks in the past about like how you run
Attack
this
from
kind of
structure.
set, and you have the
Yeah.
45 back, and you have the one downfield, and it's really about like getting to your spot and then just attacking off continues, and then if you're not
As a
hitting
group.
those as a group, and if you're not hitting those continues, and it should be so simple once everyone gets it and gets on the same page, but then that's just a lot easier said than done.
I think a bunch of things come to mind. Nut is the best at teaching it. And I think that this would be the great tool for teaching what I was just talking about, like the chemistry piece, the reading piece. Like this is such a good drill for that. Two other things come to mind. One is I think a lot of the rules that we've been playing with over the last few years in that setting, I shouldn't call them rules, but guidelines of like how we like to attack, definitely are modifying. Like you can think about one, we play a lot of FM, so AP, we call it AP. So we find
Gated.
different windows to attack, right? Because of that. And seeing guys like Spicer sort of play outside of those guidelines with such success and still be predictable has really opened my eyes to attack a little bit differently.
For example,
Yeah.
like a general guideline in like most Frisbee, I feel like, is if you throw open, you can attack, follow your throw, attack open side in end zone set. Something that like we've been doing more, and I think a lot of teams like Truck, Ring do more, is throw break and still attack break into that skinny lane, which is super, super effective when done at the right time. So that's just like not just a modification that came to mind when you mentioned that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a fun course for this would just be like identifying threats. And that could be like an offensive course. That could also be a defensive course. But it's like as soon as the disc swings, either if it's open side or break side, like someone has to attack the space in front of the disc. So it's really like, who's it going to be? And what's, where should that person come from to be the most threatening? And I think especially when you're in the end zone, it's most often the handler, just because it's so much easier to guard the people downfield because they only have one way to go. And that's back towards the disc. They can't go deep. And so defending that is pretty easy. And then maybe once, if there's like enough horizontal space, they could go like side to side and whatnot. But like there's also a stack, so they can't usually go side to side. So like I think for that reason, if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense for the cuts to be coming from the handler space. And that would be a really fun course to make.
Yeah, and the way that Bryce talked about breaking it down and how we do things is talking about different phases of offense and having different, like allowing people to do slightly different things depending on what phase you're in. But to wrap the 3v3 Y3s thought up, like watching Bird run it this week, like they also will fly through some of those windows, like this torrential, what's the word I'm looking for? Torrent pace.
Torrent, yeah.
Where it's, Calvin dances with that line a lot, right? Like he just flies through there too fast, but he's getting better at it, or like too close to the person, and not offering the thrower an option to really read that situation. And you could blame it on the thrower for not being able to process it, but you can make it easier on the thrower by staying in that threatening space for a little bit longer, or at a different speed, or at a different time, or counter if you're being overplayed.
What's kind of funny is you could pretty much plan out the whole rep. Like obviously there would be like a web that goes into like different branches of like what might happen. So now you do this. But for the most part, you could pretty much plan out the whole rep and the defense still wouldn't be able to stop it if you do it correctly. Like you could start, like you could pretty much write out the looks, like disc person with the disc in the middle.
Kind of just a decision tree.
Yeah, it's just a decision tree. Like person at the 1 takes a couple step breaks, and then it's like, do you hit? We could make like a code, like hit 0, don't hit 1. Person goes back. 1 goes back.
I swear to God, I could program some robots to do this.
Dude, we could program some robots. The other thing that'd be cool, you think we could make a song with beats? Like if the beats were like cuts and throws, and then like somehow that becomes a song and the flow is just like, that would be a really cool experiment that I don't exactly know how we would do that. I think it would probably take a musician who also plays Ultimate. Yeah, but maybe like one that also plays Frisbee.
303.
Yeah.
Sean Foreman.
Yeah, 303. Played for
Mamabird
Bird.
alumni.
Yeah.
All right, so maybe him. We'll put him on the back. That'd be cool. That'd be cool to make a Frisbee song based off of the cuts.
What's the
like a break side cut is a note, like the offense.
This is
open side cut.
the thing that people did at their concerts.
303, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
You would know better than me.
I used to listen to 303 back in the day.
What should we move on to, guys? SMI? Tryouts?
Let's do SMI. Let's do it.
Yeah, you want to talk about it a little bit, and Kins talk about what your plans are?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Right off the bat, why is Bird a 4 seed in Pool D? What's happening?
Actually, I don't know what the.
I think they're ranked number 1 in the nation by the algorithm.
I don't know if this
by
is
Cody. They're not. They're like 5 or something.
Is this
like
is this actual rankings, or are they just like random pools?
So then why the hell are they a 4 seed with Tennessee, NC Alpha, and Utah State?
No, I don't know. And why out of the Pitt Bird, UMass Bird, UCLA Bird game is the UCLA and Bird game being streamed?
What's happening?
Like who makes that decision? Why is it that game? I just don't understand.
Okay, getting on to more important things.
That's important, dude. That's
this tournament's kind of loaded, to be honest. Like Grey Duck and Cut are both 3 seeds. Like that's pretty loaded.
Super.
I'd hate to be in Pool D. Holy shit.
This isn't national, so it's good. It's good to get these games.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know if we've played UMass since like
I never played them.
Maybe
before. I never played UMass, not once in my college career.
That makes sense then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we played like 5 teams in college.
It's true.
Texas, Wisconsin,
Oregon,
Georgia,
North Carolina.
Yeah.
I think I'll just go through upsets that I
Polly
could see. I think
we love you, Polly.
Well, kind of.
I almost commented back something snarky to that, but I didn't.
I just did.
I think
sent out a nice heart. Sorry, go ahead.
I think Cut is going to upset Vermont. I think Cut is the 2 seed out of Pool A. I think the same.
An exciting, bold prediction out of you.
I think
Quinn.
the same for Grey Duck out of Pool B. I think they upset Tufts, and I think Bird wins Pool D. Coach Kins.
Coach Kins is definitely bringing this thing home. That's what I'm saying. Bringing that Smoky trophy back to Colorado, where it belongs.
I kind of wish Slowcore was at this tournament because I think Slow is legit really good. I wish they were there.
That seems to be the general consensus right now.
I think they were there. I wish they were there.
I think they're the second best team.
I also think it's because a big part of it is I think Calvin probably is maybe the best player in college. So,
definitely.
You think so? For sure.
But okay,
him or Ben.
He's
him or
the
Ben
best.
Or Henry.
Henry.
My pick is Ben for the best player, but I think Calvin is the best thrower by so much that it puts him as probably the best player because Ben is just so goddamn balanced. That is hard to be, but I think Calvin is like another caliber of thrower compared to like the entire fucking division that it makes him the best. Like he might be, I don't know if this is a hot take or not. He might be like the best thrower in all divisions right now.
Hot
Dude.
take.
Might be.
Hot.
And there's probably other people that are, better, but like he's a fucking sick ass thrower, dude.
Me. But I will say
He's a better thrower than you. I'm sorry.
No.
Yes,
way.
he is, dude.
Why?
All right, moving on.
Why?
He's a better thrower than you. He's a better thrower.
What universe is he a better thrower? In the universe where I don't exist?
He's a better thrower than you, dude.
I think he's got a better release than you do.
He's got a better.
What does that mean?
He can get breaks off faster than you.
He's he's a better thrower than you. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna write this down.
I've seen him overthrow a lot of stuff. Though I'll say that.
Yeah, it's funny. I think we're just talking about Calvin here, but I think he didn't like Kins and I were talking about this. He didn't like have an amazing like when we played him in quarters. Like Revolver just like didn't use him well. It seemed like he just kind of.
Even weird that he was on the D line for the Aviators, even though they beat us. So like,
I think that's because he joined the team late.
Yeah,
sure. But like, if you were just saying like someone like so good like that, you would just.
I think.
But also part of it is coming back from the knee injury. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I do think he's Revolver's best player
for sure. Well, Adam is. I think he's better than Adam. I think Adam's. I'm going to use the word again. He's more balanced. Adam's more balanced, but I do think I agree.
Anyway,
cool.
Coach Kins, why are you Coach Kins this weekend?
Yeah,
I have nothing to say to neither of you.
Don't act like you're not talking to me.
Pouty.
Why are you Coach Kins this
Why
weekend?
am I Coach Kins? Because Bird didn't have a coach, so I.
Because none of us none of us coaches go to anything. So.
This is like what Quinn and I were talking about before tryouts, where we were like, I feel like in Colorado we just get shit on all the time for being as
Mikey,
players.
yeah, this is a funny conversation that might be interesting for other people, might not. We were just talking about how like if you're like near the top of like the players in your community, you don't get told that you are a good player a lot by your peers or by your coaches.
In fact, you just get told that other players are undoubtedly better than you. No question. Just better release. Just like the debate's over.
Like I never tell Kins he's good, and he never tells me I'm good, and like you never tell us we're good. Like it's just the way it is, and that's how you live with it. But like the people that are.
My first memory of Alex is when picking him up from the airport, and he's just like, baggy fitting clothes and an overnight bag,
dude. Hell yeah!
Runs up. We drive up to a Mamabird workout at like 9 a.m. He to your credit, you came to altitude and ran the workout, but I just remember like those duck feet that you ran with back then. You guys are good, and I tell you guys enough.
Well, we were talking about like whenever you post a point like film of like you talking over film, you're just shitting on me. It's just a shit on Quinn sessions for 10 minutes on like one cut that like could have gotten me 3 more yards if I did what you said, and then Tape will trot in and do like one thing that's like he caught a reset, and you'll be like,
he didn't even catch
sick.
it.
Yeah,
he didn't even get the reset.
And I'm like grinding, and I get nothing. It's like, well, Quinn could have gotten 3 yards out of that instead of 2. So,
I also think part of it is like or at least I feel like I latch on to the negative things people say a lot
for
harder.
sure,
and
yeah,
the positive things just kind of glance off a little bit.
They just go to your head and make it slightly bigger.
Yeah, like they're in there. Yeah, they're in there subconsciously. But wait, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Coach Kins.
Coach Kins
is excited. It's a little weird because I haven't like spent that much time with the team. I mean, I made sure to go to the 2 practices this week, and I know a good amount of the guys just because I like stay pretty closely involved, and part of them like I play a lot with. So it's a little odd because I don't really feel like a coach. Like I think how it'll start is being more like Konsultant Kins, where like I'll be watching and I'll be like, I think you guys should probably do a little bit more of this on offense. Or like, I always have feedback for people, but I'm like hesitant on just like how much and like what I want to say.
I think that's
'cause-
perfect, though. I think you should be Consultant Kins.
Yeah. And I think also over the course of the weekend, it may slowly turn into Coach Kins as like the trust, in my opinion, maybe grows. And then obviously if not, then it would go the other direction. But I think if like Consultant Kins is like making good observations and they seem to be having a positive impact, like then it'll turn more into Coach Kins. But I think that's more how I view it. Like I don't see like I know Max is going to be calling lines, and I don't plan on like calling like offensive plays or defensive sets. I think it could turn into that slowly because I trust the offense more to call their own plays. I think the defense could probably use more help in like calling different sets. Like I don't know how much they're going to switch up like what they call or what they run like without
In-game
it, especially
adjustments.
with Buck playing.
I feel like that's what you need to consult on is in-game adjustments. I think that's what they lacked at Pres Day is in-game adjustments because I mean obviously that's a big deal.
Yeah, I agree. So
Yeah.
basically that's what I'm going to be doing, and then I'll try to get the troops rallied up by yelling at them like during the points and
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah, you'll have fun. They have good leadership, though, so you can definitely funnel things through them. So Consultant Kins will be
I've noticed that,
high-paid
like,
consultant.
I'm just really bad unless like I think they're doing really well, which I generally don't think of things or like people or whatever. Like I'm really bad at just focusing on like the positives and just like I like at practice yesterday, especially at the beginning and at the end when the offense wasn't scoring or when no one was scoring in wide threes. I'm like struggling to be like, find things to say or to talk about because all I'm noticing is like, what the fuck are we doing? And I don't also have the proper ways of being like, you should probably do this thing. So it just kind of manifests into like,
Just
this
tell
looks
them
terrible.
tell them to run hard. I think that's like legit. You remember I don't know if you were there, but at World's Tryouts this weekend, it's like the last block of the day of the second day. Like we're 15 hours into playing the highest level frisbee we've ever played, and BVH looks at us and goes, "I just want you guys to run as fast as you can," and that was it.
He said, "Run fast." That's never a bad decision.
And then I kept saying it anytime after anybody said that. I kept saying, my Incredibles fans out there get it, but he would say, "Run as fast as you can." I say, "As fast as I can." From the Incredibles. Come on, anybody? Okay,
Is that the first one or second one?
Definitely the
first one. It's the first one. The dad Bob tells Dash because he's usually not allowed to run as fast as he can. And he tells him, "I just want you to run as fast as you can." He goes, "As fast as I can." Yeah.
I've just been waiting for someone to tell me that.
I think. By the way,
That's why you're
please
slow.
do, please.
Yeah. Okay, heard now.
I think that's probably one of BVH's strengths, though. I don't know BVH, but from what I hear from other pony guys and the limited interactions I've had with him is he seems to know when to not overload people and just like let them be free, I guess, like take the pressure out the moment, or relish the pressure and have fun with it. I think he seems to get the most out of players by like keeping them in that joyful state or that like having fun state and not like overthinking where like last or whenever practice was last, Shigley, who just asked me to add you to the Discord as a coach. Yeah, I think he was getting frustrated. Like, we just need to run our systems. We need to do this and that. And like, you could, or you could just have fun. That like, you guys are good. That will probably work itself out.
Yeah, that's one thing I was thinking about as Consultant Kins is like, Because like you're playing bad when your coach is just like standing there on the sideline, like arms folded, straight faced, like things aren't going well. And like, I mean, it's really hard, but like flipping a script almost into like everyone thinks you're playing bad, like that kind of skill and that kind of, I don't know. Sometimes maybe it's not even possible. Like maybe you're just playing bad and it's not going to get better. The other team is better and stuff, but I don't know. I was just thinking about ways that maybe I'd be able to help shift that mindset if things aren't going.
Yeah, I think the mindset
well.
is critical for any team. And here's one reason why. I see so often teams play poorly but have positive results. Maybe you're playing a weaker opponent and you're never thinking like, just run the fucking system better, or like you guys got to run clear harder or not cut this way. And then you see, every pod I get one of these thumbs up emojis. But as soon as things start going south, you start blaming everything on these things. And it turns out you were never running it well. You were just scoring.
I agree.
Yeah,
the results were just better.
And like sometimes TK is good at that, and it just kind of, because it's like removing yourself from like the outcome. Because a lot of the times it's like little things, and maybe the other team is just better, or maybe you've just made like a couple errors that have now like strung together, and so you're just not playing well. / maybe you guys are just now in this bad mindset that are forcing you to not play well. I know it makes me actually it makes me think of, we were at the tryouts and we weren't playing well, and this guy on our line was just like, it was like, it's just our effort is here and it needs to be here. And like, I was just like, I really don't think it's an effort like problem right now. And it was such a like, we're at tryouts and I'm gonna like show that I am a leader of troops. And I was like, this is so
cringy.
No, it made me so uncomfortable. I think like what we were saying about BVH, I think like it's like emotional intelligence, and then also being authentic and able to reflect on how you're feeling, and just kind of being able to like read the room and the situation, and then like you know what to say, because like at the end of the day, for like a speech to be good, it's got to resonate with how the people are feeling, and then you can maybe get some insights from it or whatever. And so I think that as a skill is really important for a coach, because I noticed he was good at that, which was like addressing how we were feeling. Because, there's nothing worse when they say some shit that just like completely misses the mark. And you're like, no, I don't feel that way at all. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And now I'm just like, like, why did you say that?
The best opening to a highlight video that I can think of, our good friend AK, his edit of the Pony Worlds run in 2022, and it opens with BVH giving the pressure builds diamond speech.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Sick.
If you're listening to this, you should definitely check that video out and give AK a like. Shall we wrap up here with a couple, like, what are maybe Quinn, you and I can talk about what we're going to be doing for SMI, and then we can dabble a little bit on tryouts, but maybe not too in depth quite yet.
Yeah. We're going to give more thoughts on tryouts. We're just maybe waiting till teams announced and then all that, and East Coast tryouts happen. So one thing I'll say about tryouts is it's like so hard. It's physically probably the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, I was absolutely obliterated. Like, I'm still trying to work my legs back to full strength, like legit, and it's Thursday. But it was so fun. Like, I was like kind of going in like skeptical of just like, I don't know why, just like, I don't know, maybe I was nervous or whatever, but God, it was so fun. Just like, one, to connect with all of these people that like on the spreadsheet, I have connect with enemies, just connecting with all these people that like I never have gotten to play with, all these like cool people that I've never gotten to play with, that are really good at Frisbee. So that was just so fun, like on and off the field, connecting with them, and then just like hanging out with like Kins and Spice and Jarv and Cal and Toby and Tape.
Toblerone.
Yeah, I'm calling Toby Toblerone now.
Toblerone.
Yeah, it's sick. And just all the people in our Airbnb.
Oh, you know, it's nice because he's from the Triangle. They got little.
Oh shit, that's good.
Anyway,
but yeah, it was just so fun. Like it was so fun. Like borderline. Who's to say what's too much work in a weekend? Borderline too much work. It was so fucking hard, but it was awesome. And it was sick. Yeah, I'm stoked about it. It like almost like reinvigorated my
love
for the sport. Like it wasn't.
Totally.
It didn't need reinvigorating, but like it
got the
it
juices
bolstered.
going.
Yeah, like I want the season to start now, man. Like it was so sick, and just like it makes you feel like the best frisbee player in the world because you're just playing with so many good people, and they're just like doing everything for you, but you're reaping all the benefits of it. It's just fucking so sick. But yeah, that's what I got.
That part was true. It definitely did reinvigorate me.
Yeah,
being
man.
with like a bunch of other good people and just being like, yeah, wow, like this is fun, and I do really want to be like better than all of you by a lot. Because I've been, especially like in the off season,
You weren't even the best thrower there, though.
I know, which is crazy, like, crazy to think about. Crazy to think about, but because I know I've been like this off season, I've been like, I don't know, maybe just not having been playing a lot because of injuries, and then I've been like wanting to get good at disc golf, and then going to that, I was like, oh, I wanna do more of this. Like this is pretty fun, and now the waiting game is, I haven't been on this side of the
Brutal.
coin in a while. I'm like, I don't like this,
It
dude.
It sucks.
The waiting game.
It really
does
sucks.
kind of
Are you guys
suck.
feeling stressed about the waiting? What's the timeline? Do you know the timeline?
It's like weeks, dude. We got like,
middle of not like it's like I think 11th through 16th is when they might announce / tell us
March.
Yeah. So it's like 2 weeks.
Okay, that's honestly not quite as bad as I thought.
It's not terrible. Yeah. Well, also good on them for like doing the 2 tryouts and then like announcing the team like a week later or a week and a half later. Like I cannot imagine what picking those teams is like. I cannot imagine how hard that is.
Do you think it's harder than a normal team?
Yes.
Why?
I think it's
Why?
because the line of the good players is like so thin. Like once you're talking about like let's say you're just looking at the open teams, like 24, if there's 24 people on the roster, to like what number? Like
Is that right?
Sure, they're
each
all
roster has 24 people.
Uh-huh.
I think so. Like what number is like, they're all the fucking same, pretty good, down to like 50.
And
Any
I think,
alternates?
like-
Do they take alternates?
no
I
alternates.
don't think so.
But also like I think like you're taking like every person you're taking on those teams down to like the 24th, like the last person that you end up adding to the roster is like filling a very specific purpose. And like even I would even be willing to bet that they take people in like pairs. Like they're like, okay, these people
Or groupings?
yeah, like these people are filling this like specific, like I just think it's so I don't know, maybe it's not harder, it seems way harder, but yeah.
I can understand why that would be the thinking that it's harder. I'll argue why it may not be harder.
Yeah.
Because I think everything is relative, right? You even on a doesn't really matter. Let's just use Bravo or Summit as our experience level and or Mamabird and the relative skill and talent of a national team is unquestionably higher, but still, like the margins are there at kind of at the end of any roster.
I know what you mean.
And I think one of the toughest pieces that I wrestle with on a non-national team is wanting to give people an opportunity that have never been able to experience that, like sort of like what John was describing as the gated community.
Yeah.
But like you don't make the national team, definitely a bummer, but you also know you're one of the best players on the planet still, and you're probably still going to be on if you choose a nationally competitive team. So from that perspective, maybe not as hard. Like
that's fair. It's definitely fair. And like probably going to win regardless of the team you take.
Probably.
Maybe less pressure. I don't know.
I think World Games is probably closer to not winning.
World Games is the hardest, or I mean, mixed beach lost, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know if I'm really considering those in what I was thinking of.
Sure, but
because it's just like, not. They don't even. It's like not even. It's not.
It's beach. It's different. It's a different thing. It's
what I mean to say is, other countries can touch some of these U.S. teams.
Yeah, but I wonder if they can touch us in
men's or women's.
Yeah,
I would be very surprised
with the best teams out there.
Yeah,
even in mixed.
I'm not. Yeah, I would guess not, but I'm not. I'm honestly not sure. I can't even. I don't even remember what the 2016 results were. I assume we swept gold.
USA beat Japan.
In the men's,
15 in men's, yeah, in men's
15,
it was 15-12, I think. I just watched it today. Actually, it was a good game.
I've probably watched that game more than another game. Actually,
it's the Joel Schlachet show.
Yeah.
That guy is unreal, man.
Yeah,
which is funny because you would think he'd be like a big American to like dominate that game,
and he just scores.
He just out Japan the Japanese guys.
It's insane. And maybe my favorite frisbee clip ever is a huck goes up and it's like I think it's Bo, Joel, and 2 Japan defenders, and Bo just takes them both out, and then Schlachet ends up with the disc, and then is running and gets trucked by Jimmy. They go to like, I think it's Jimmy. They like jump up and shoulder check in the air, and Joel ends up on his back at like 5 feet in the air, and it's the funniest shit ever. It's so good. That. We'll have to clip it in.
Yeah, that was peak Joel for sure. Kurt had that insane wraparound layout D.
Yeah, insane.
Ryan Farrell actually had a Callahan, but was called back on a throwing
on a foul on the throw. Yep.
Dylan had a crazy D.
That was the first turn of the game. Yeah, it was insane.
And I think Raider followed that up. Anyway, we could talk about that forever. Tell me just a little bit more about the fun parts of tryouts, and maybe what you're feeling afterwards.
Yeah.
Or like, did you make any special connections?
I think if we've talked about them all pod, but me and Calvin Brown were the absolute dynamic duo, and it was pretty fun just cooking. And that's why he's my pick for best throw in the world now. So
cooking with Cal.
Recency bias.
Yeah. I got to know so many people like better and like met so many people. It was like, that's all I'll say about it for now. And then after the team announcement, we can
was there anybody that you didn't know very well that it was like a pleasant surprise to get to know?
Yeah, Nick Stewart, Thick Stewart. He's coming on the pod. I don't know. He's always like, when you're playing against him, he's always so scary because he's so big and so serious. But he's got that like Colorado, North Carolina humor about him. Like he's just like talking shit about everybody in like the nicest, funniest way the whole time. And it was I'd never met him before, and that was great to get to know him. So that's one person.
What about you, Kins? Anybody?
This guy Skunk was real fun.
Skunk was fun, yeah.
The mixed player from Minnesota. Very good at defense.
Michigan.
Actually. But, yeah. In M State, in the north middle of the country.
Ann Arbor?
It could. I guess it was that.
What are they called? Hybrid?
Hybrid. It was hybrid. He plays for
Hybrid. Hybees.
The Hybees.
He was good at defense.
He was.
Pleasantly surprised.
He was a good player in general.
Skunky.
He had a hub vibe about him, Mike.
Yes, very hubby vibes.
Yeah.
Which
is Skunk. If you're listening, that's a high praise.
Block leader. AUDL UFA single game block record leader. Yeah, he was good and fun to play with. I don't know.
So many.
There was a lot. Going on.
Yeah, it was almost like super overwhelming.
It's like now that I'm thinking of all the names, I like can't even. I'm getting overwhelmed with the amount of people.
I think we can touch on it more after.
Yeah, sounds good. Overall, great experience.
So fun. Oh yeah, and how we're feeling. I feel good. I'm still very nervous about it, but I feel like I played good frisbee, and that's all I can ask for. We'll see.
Good disc.
Good disc.
Leo Gordon hurt his hamstring at warm-ups.
Oh, that
was
poor
sad.
guy, dude. Warm-ups on day
toast.
Day one.
His hammy was a problem all last year too.
That's such
Wait,
a
keep
bummer.
scrolling down that list, Mikey. It might stir something. Oh yeah, Khalif is funny. He was cracking me up. He came
Khalif
up to
is
me.
funny.
He came up to me after one of our games and goes, Kins, you got to start punching people for not throwing you deep, dude. And I go, he was like, I see you every time they don't throw it, those shoulders. I was like, you
Khalif
get
did-
it.
He did
You
a
get
cheer.
it, Khalif.
He did a cheer. He goes, "What team? Wildcats."
What does that mean?
It's from High School Musical. It was so funny, dude. He's a goofball, man.
And then Quinn like accidentally like kind of hit Mark Munoz on like a reset.
Oh yeah, I feel
It was
terrible
fine.
about
and
that.
Then
You hit him?
I was like really close to a block, and I kind of like tripped, and I Charlie horsed him so bad, like so bad. It wasn't bad though.
And like as Mark is like on the ground, maybe in some pain, Khalif
Yeah.
just on the sideline from like far away is just yelling, "Quinn, take one! Quinn, take one!"
Oh,
Just
good.
so
So he's
funny.
a good vibes guy.
Oh yeah, he was
He
hilarious.
was. No, I'm a
honestly.
fan. Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
I liked like yeah. I wish I had honestly played with him because I think we would have got each other fucking electric. Damn, I'm looking. Those East Coast tryouts are maybe kind of stacked. Huh?
Yeah, I think East Coast will have,
They have pony truck and ring over there. So.
but a lot of pony guys aren't going. I suppose I don't know. I think the East Coast will be have a little bit more talent. We'll see though. It's really hard to say, dude. There was
It's really hard to
so much talent there. It's crazy.
hard to
What pony
say-
guys? What are you talking about?
I think Oscar's not trying out.
No, it looks like. I mean, his
I
name
think-
is right there.
Well,
unless
this
he's
is
not.
the original announcement.
Right.
Grant's not. I know Grant's not trying out. I don't think Babbitt's trying out. This is just what I've heard.
No Jack. We know
No
that.
Jack. No Joe.
Well, sweet. I'm glad it was a
Also,
good experience.
last thing, I see why that machine team was so good, because all of those machine dudes are very good. I'll just say it. And
They had like the most guys at tryouts.
Nate and Joe weren't at, like, Joe obviously not trying out, but
Right.
Nate wasn't at that tryout. Like, dude, the machine dudes at the West Coast tryout, all of them, like Paul,
except for Pavel, because
Keegan,
sucks.
J Val, like they're all
Those guys are good.
at Bansfield, like they're all very good. I know why that team was so good. Like they're
Mansfield was at
so
your tryout?
they're so talented. He
Did
threw
you say hi?
We said what up. We like high fived, and I was being nice to him, but we didn't like openly talk. about it.
prior to tryouts on Friday. Me and Kins were talking about Kins should pull up. He should message Bansfield and say we're gonna pull a prank on everybody and act like we're about to fight the first time we see each other. And he's gonna go, "Hey, Bansfield!" when
Yeah,
he shows
like,
up
how
to the
funny
fields.
would it have been
And then
if
they're
I
just gonna
showed
like
up
hug.
that?
It
If I
didn't happen,
just-
but
It
I
would have
would've
been
just loved to,
so
like,
funny.
You just start making out with each other. That
Adult. You know, it would have been so
The adult
funny if
camps.
I had just been like, Bansfield.
Bansfield had one of
Dapped him up.
the sickest turns I've ever seen. Though he threw a flick, like, I'm not kidding, 90 yards upwind out the back of the end zone, 40 yards too far for anybody. I don't know how he threw it so far. It was absolutely insane. He bombed it.
He's a good thrower.
You know who was pretty good was this Wyatt kid from UMass. He was a solid handler.
Yeah, solid.
Very solid. Young. A lot of good young guys in ours because like Smokey was
Yeah.
the East Coast weekend. Selfridge
was at yours,
looked
right?
pretty solid. Yeah, Jacques
was there.
Wyatt, Ben. A lot of these youngsters.
I've heard that Spicer thought very high of Jason Valley.
I love Jason Valley, dude. I think that guy's he's a great dude. I think he's an elite defender. I think
he got some
I think
good coach
he's
bucks and stuff.
self-proclaimed like was too he said the word leaky with the disc, and I think like maybe that's true. I don't really know, but the dude is an elite defender for sure.
There's a lot of those kind of guys that are athletic and do a lot of those types of things, but like skills wise and stuff are a little.
You know who he reminds me of actually? Our KJ, Kevin Johnson. Just like grinder, workhorse.
Yeah, I guarded
you
him
into
one
the
point
ground.
and I
Not
was
fun.
like, dude,
Not
you
fun.
gotta relax. Him and Trent Dillon were like,
Dude,
you gotta
I swear sometimes Trent will run like 120 yards on one cut for like to gain like 3 yards to the break side.
I've seen him do that.
I
I'm
also
like,
noticed that
stop.
Trent has a little spaghetti in him, a little noodle in him. He really cuts with his head. Like when Trent cuts, like there's a whole like
Dude,
head thing
speaking
going
about the
on.
noodle, good old Felix. I get it. Been watching him. I've been fortunate enough to say what up to him at practice the last couple of weeks. He is a noodle. He's a noodle.
Look out for we'll try and post it, but I'm supposed to race spaghetti noodle at a bird practice coming up here.
Yeah, you got
Meatball?
ups here.
Are you the meatball? He's spaghetti.
Yeah, I'll be the meatball. I'm a good
You gotta borrow the meatball.
Kins, you're the breadstick.
Floppy breadstick.
all you can eat.
Okay, I think we'll talk more about Tryouts, but just to wrap things up, Smoky Mountain. It's not official. Actually, Quinn, do you want to talk about it, or do you want me to talk about it?
Drop the mic bomb.
The Mikey bomb is
Bomb.
Keith reached out, Keith Rayner of Ultiworld, and asked if we would like to do some remote commentary. So thank you all for listening, supporting, and reaching out to Ultiworld on our behalf, actually. I think, Kins, you probably did text Charlie directly, so that probably prompted things a little bit
Coach
as well.
Kins.
Yep. Now we're just working on the contract, what we're going to get out of it, TV rights, those kind of things.
Yeah. The collective bargaining agreement is underway. But so hopefully Quinn and I with sideline report of Kins.
I said that yesterday. Buck was so sad. No, you can't be sideline reporter.
So expect commentary or what loosely I don't know what would
Manning.
you describe?
It's going to be Manning cast style commentary. I think is
Watch
the best
party.
way. It's
Watch
the best way I
party.
can describe it. Yeah, like we're not professionals at commentating by any.
I am.
Shut up.
We were
By
just
any.
CC'd. While
Yeah.
recording this, I know we got an email from Keith CCing their producer Kelly. I've not checked that email yet, but we'll know a little bit more about. Who knows? Maybe it will all fall apart and we won't do this. But as of now, it should be fun.
It's gonna be sick. I'm so excited, actually.
Watch party.
Hopefully, we can get like a chat going, and you guys, if y'all are watching, you can like put stuff in the chat.
Yeah, if people have ideas.
Talk shit to us. Do whatever you want. We can respond to it. It'll be fun.
I can't take the talk.
Mike,
Just
don't
be
talk.
nice.
You can
Please
talk
be
shit
nice
to me, but be nice to Mike.
And me. And yeah, give ideas in the chat. And then hopefully if it's like a bird game or if it's not, hopefully I can like call in at halftime and give the deets of like what's going on.
The sideline vibe.
What the people are saying. Yeah, what's
Ah.
going on down on the field. Check in on the injury maybe.
You're gonna be too tied to your
How
phone.
the players are looking. No,
I will-
I'll go on my phone at halftime.
I will. I think it's fine. I'll read one funny thing from Keith. He says, after he asked if we could do it, if we would do it, I said, yeah. And he said, God help us if Bird gets on stream.
So, Bird, you better get on the fucking stream, dude.
Yeah, we need you out there.
Well, Bird is on stream. UCLA, man. Check
Yeah,
it
but
in.
we I don't think we're gonna be.
Imagine
wants-
that. 4
he only
seed
wants
versus
us
a
for
3
big
seed
ticket
in the
games.
pool.
Yeah, so plan on hearing or seeing us for semis and finals, one of the semis games, and then so that's I think 11 a.m. Eastern Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Sunday, and then potentially a Saturday game to get our feet wet, but who knows?
Who knows, man?
Cool.
Sweet. Well, good luck, Coach Kins.
Coach Kins.
Consultant Kins.
Consultant Kins. Good luck to the birdies this weekend. All you other teams can fuck right off. I'm just kidding.
Hell yeah.
We Frisbee hate you. We don't Frisbee hate anybody. Cal Poly, we don't Frisbee hate you.
I mean, if they keep commenting shit like that, I mean, we might as well. Some of their shit's cringy. I'm always on that fine line of like, do I want to have like a Pavel type personality on the internet of like,
I wouldn't.
just get into it with people?
Stress me
Because I
out.
like think about it. Like my first gut reaction is like that, and then I don't typically, but could be fun.
All right.
So say some shit to that, babies.
On that note, peace out. See you guys next week.